What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video here at Red Dirt Reptiles. For those of you who don't know, I'm Corey Samples. For those of you returning, let's get back into it. Alright, so today we are setting up an Ackie enclosure. Got one of my TopEnder babies here. Gonna go ahead and get it in its own solitary enclosure just for a little bit. This will be a transition style enclosure, but just while it's still young and still here, best way to do it, in one of my opinions, put it in something small so it acclimates, and then go from there. Too much space is always a bad idea right off the bat, and too little space is always a bad idea right off the bat. And this thing is, relatively, well, I'd say about this long head to tail, so gonna be perfect. Alright, so to start off, need an enclosure. Now, if you can't tell already, this one's been nice and cleaned out. I've got tile flooring in the bottom of it, vinyl tile flooring. However, we're going to cover that with substrate and all kinds of other goodies. I'm going to put some plants in there and get a hide in there, get a branch in there where they can get up and bask. I've got a 50 UVB, 13 watt 50 UVB, along with a 100 watt heat 100 watt basking bulb, and a 60 watt heat emitter. The 60 watt heat emitter is only used for nighttime purposes if it gets too cool. As long as the enclosure will stay at about 78, 79 without, then I don't need to turn the heat emitter on. However, sometimes during the winter months, and actually a lot of times during the winter months when my house starts to cool off, then definitely have to turn that back on. But to get going and get started at it right away, let's just jump into it. So I've already got my lighting. You can't really see, and I'm going to open this up and maybe go to the other side. Maybe you can see a little bit. You can barely see in a little bit of the basking bulb. There's a 100 watt basking bulb right there. The heat emitter is in the back, and the UVB sits dead in the middle. Alright, so what's next, they would say? Well, next will be going in substrate. Now, for substrate, I use a couple different things, but for my Ackies, I'm very specific. I use 2-part forest floor blend. It's like a real small cypress mulch chunk. I use cocoa coir, soft, loose coconut fiber substrate, and I mix that in 1 part, so 2 to 3 part forest floor, 1 part cocoa coir, 1 part peat moss, and 1 part topsoil. Get a good solid mixture, not too heavy, not too light, and not too dense as well, but it is pretty dense once we moisten it, and that's what you achieve for. So let's go ahead and start with that. If you don't mind, I'm going to use a dustpan to help get this going because it's a lot to be putting in by hand. So let's see. This is, and I'll show you just a few what we're looking at here. Just go ahead and throw some of this in there. Now I am going to put this a little bit deep. I want probably, even for a baby, 2 to 4 inches. I really do want to give them the ability to burrow if they want. I've noticed that with Ackies, you get a lot better response out of them if you give them the ability to burrow right off the bat, whereas my water monitors I don't give. But we are talking about Ackies, so 2 to 4 inches of substrate is what I'm going to do. Oh, well, let's see if I can get another one of these in here. Maybe one more past that, and then we'll see where we're at. Alright, so if you can't tell, I've got a massive glob of substrate in here. Let's get some of this moved around and see where we're at. Oh yeah, definitely gonna need more. Definitely gonna need more. I'm just kind of plateauing out. And so we'll go ahead and get some more in there. Try and do this by my... go around. Alright. Let's see. Now we're getting somewhere. Alright. That's about, I don't know, 3 inches depth in there. I've got about 2 inches, 2.5 inches up the glass. It's about another inch past that to the ground. Alright, first things first, really want to add some plants and such. Excuse me, I had to blow my nose. Algae's kicking my butt. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is add in a plant of some sort. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to add in my basking feature almost immediately. That way I kind of know where I want it to be and where I need to plant around. So where we're seeing it at about right here is where I want it. I am actually going to drop this down into the substrate. I think that will actually help it not be so stupid hot right here. And that'll give them some tunnels underneath there, because this feature does have some tunnels at the bottom. And just kind of move this in and around. My Ackie get the ability to dig in wherever they want, or wherever it wants. I have a TopEnder Ackie, Varanus Acantharus, Varanus Acantharus going in here. This is one of the 3 variations of Akkie's dwarf monitor. You have reds, yellows, and TopEnders. So this would be your more non-seen, which would be the TopEnder. All right, so got a good basking ledge in here. If you can't tell, my basking bulb is blasting down right on top of this. This would be great for the babies when they come up. Oh, I don't know that I like that too much though, huh? It's a little top heavy, don't we think? We'll see, we'll see. Is it top heavy like that? Yes, it is. All right. Next, I'm going to add in some shrubbery of some kind. So check this out. I'm going to do this one about. What do you think? Do you think that one, you like that one better there, or do you think we'd like it better in the back? This really is aesthetically pleasing for us, for the people who want to be looking at these guys all day long. As long as you're providing the necessities for your monitor, you will be perfectly fine. However, I've noticed that you know, I like to go all out and give them relatively naturalistic looking cages, and habitats, as I can say. So I'm gonna go with that route for this one. I'm actually probably gonna tuck this one into that back corner. So we'll do this one somewhere in the mix of this right here. So behind that, we'll get this one a lot lower. Like there's right now. There we go. That back corner that go in and hide. Looks pretty well. We'll go in and do the same thing to this one right up here up front. I'll put another one right here just because I love the look of the shrubbery and such. Now I realize I've left this side kind of bare and open, and that's fine. That gives the ability to come out and be out in the open. I do kind of like that. I can show you a different Ackie setup, and I will do that when I'm done with this one. But for right now, this is how I kind of want this one, being able to get up and down, no issues. So yeah, that's the route I'm going with this guy. There we go. I packed a little more substrate up underneath right there. All right, so let's go one more piece of wood. And always my favorite to have like really cool looking driftwood pieces. I put these in the oven for 200 to 250 degrees for 3 hours. Literally kills anything and everything that you could think that might be on it, that will be on it, that would want to be on it. So let's see if I stuck this one. These guys seem to dig off into the back, so I do something like that right there. I'm caved off into the back. I know this is not a proper water dish, and you'll have to apologize. Usually I do have them, but I kind of flip-flop getting a new water dish. So for the moment, a small dog water dish. Luckily, this little guy is super small, can fit in here, no big deal. But within the next couple of days, I'll definitely have to get a rock water dish. So for now, I'm gonna put this guy right here in the front. Give it a little inset so it's not so high up off the ground where the monitor could get to it if it really wants or needs. And all right, let's see. What else do we got? Alright, so I've got substrate in. I have all my plants and such that I'm going to put in, all my driftwood and such that I'm going to put in. So right now, before I put my glass doors on, because they're sitting down here in the bottom of my 9 stack, let's go ahead and spray it, because you know, even though these guys are Australian monitors, they live in dry, arid places. And what exactly does that mean? Dry and arid means it is dry on top and extremely moist way deep down. So perfect for humidity, and we're going to provide that today. So check this out. A lot of times for my Ackies, for my babies, not to scare them, I just go with a spray bottle, man. I mean, it's just the easiest thing. And hey, we are literally going to encase the whole enclosure, So, let's go ahead and get some moisture off in here. Now this substrate, because I honestly just mixed it, is gonna be relatively moist the whole way down already, so really just misting the top layer is gonna be perfect. Other than that, I would kind of soak it, you know, in the mornings for my first spray. If you'll notice, I am gonna do the walls. You kind of want it to be nice and dewy, kind of like you're recreating the morning dew. And I do this daily. Let's see, so we're get all the plants, the foliage. Let's see. Oh yeah. All right. So let's get some glass going here. Oh. This is a lot dirtier than I thought it was going to be. Excuse me for a moment while I wipe this clean. Now, again, I probably should have had most of this done already. I can definitely tell I'm going to have to come back and clean these glass doors again. But that's okay. That is okay. So, stick this up in there. One door in. Put this one over and around. Second door in and in effect. So, now, excuse me, I'm going to blow my nose one more time. All right, now full on effect. So we have got everything inside. This is a fully set up and ready to go Accie's dwarf monitor enclosure. I mean, just really nice, quick put together little thing. I'm probably, 10, 11 minutes into this video, maybe even a little longer than that, and I've got it done like that. Of course, I had all my substrate and everything pre-made, and that probably took me a good 10 minutes ahead of making this video. And then lights and such, making sure of that. I probably have another 5-10 minutes in video. But altogether, it took me about 25 minutes to 30 minutes to get this all set up. And so, yeah. Let's go ahead and I'll just use a little of this water to get some water in this water dish. Since this is fresh water daily anyway. Alright, so water in the water dish. I did spill a little bit over, but again, hey, a little bit more moisture down in the soil isn't going to hurt anybody right off the bat. Definitely not my new little TopEnder. So, since we have been waiting this whole time, and all you've done is see me set up an enclosure, how about now we get a monitor in the enclosure. So check this out. This is Varanus Acanthurus. This is the TopEnder Accie's dwarf monitor, and I'm telling you, this little thing is just absolute the best. I bought a pair. This is one of the pair that were coming in, or I bought two, I should say, not a pair, but I bought a pair of, meaning bought more than one. So I bought two. This is one of the two to make it to me today, and man, I've been so stoked. I do eventually have another one of these coming in, and I am just super stoked about this. So this is a little bitty Accie's dwarf monitor. I don't know if you can see this little thing, but it is just, here, let me see if I can get around. Just absolutely gorgeous. Just an absolute beautiful little monitor. just absolutely gorgeous. The coloration and such on it is gorgeous. I did unbox it on my way home, and it actually set in my hand quite calm for just a few. It's actually being quite calm right now, so I'm actually really looking forward to this. Again, this is a not seen very often Akkie's dwarf monitor. As far as I know, there are very few people that are doing these in the United States. So very blessed to have one ourselves. So all right, let's get this little guy in there and see how he does. So what's up, guys? Let's come check this out. So this is full enclosure setup. You can't see the little Ackie chilling right here already. Just absolute doll. I mean, this thing is just absolute doll. Absolutely. So again, I mean, it was super easy, super quick to set this up. I'm gonna go ahead and close this so I don't have any escaping. But look at this. I mean, it's got plenty of foliage, plenty of room to kind of move around. And yeah, I mean, you really just can't beat this. And hey, to be completely honest with you, this specific species of monitor is, in my opinion, the best monitor to start off with. They only get about 18 to 24 inches full grown, and you've seen how just how small these guys really are. And one of the coolest things about them is they are so super food driven. I mean, you can target train and click train these guys like it's going out of style, and you have one of the coolest animals to watch chase its food around and really get active and involved with you when it's time to feed. So that's it for now. I appreciate y'all sticking tuned with me, and just as well, once again, this is Corey from Red Dirt Reptiles, and thank y'all for tuning in.